Okay, so just to start or to wait until a couple of minutes or to start, what do you think? Start.
Please start your presentation, doctor, it's fine.
Okay, so good afternoon and thanks much for inviting me. Today I'm assistant professor in Ariel University in the Department of Psychology, and my laboratory investigates self-regulation and embodied cognition and creative cognition. I'm also an active clinician. So today I'm going to present a paper that was already published in Frontiers in Psychiatry, Social Cognition in 2021. And the paper is about the theory of motivated cue integration. The theory itself was developed by me, and this is an application of the theory to the COVID-19. So actually, self-regulation, there is a wide and the ample research was conducted in the area of self-regulation, most of it in social cognition, and the research in social cognition is related to goals, top-down processes, motivations, and there's also a huge body of research in the clinical area. And I'm seeing that there is some kind of question here. Let me see. Okay, this is the email of Roni Geva from Bar Ilan, also in Israel. So actually, most of the research that was conducted in social cognition was either in social psychology, or there's also research in clinical psychology, but then they relate to self-regulation as a tension reduction process. And several aspects in self-regulation are missing, and I'm trying to cover these aspects in my new theory. For example, research in social cognition on social psychology in general is mostly related to external processes, exteroceptive signals, contextual cues, but no association to bodily. Another thing that is missing is emphasis on top-down processes, and all things that we know familiar from current decades of like mindfulness and moment-to-moment processes are lacking. There's no research, there's no connection between top-down processes and low-level processes in research of self-regulation. There are sporadic theories, but no general theory that connect between them. Another aspect that is missing, is that research on self-regulation was mostly mechanic and mostly related to the self, and no association to self and other relations, or experiential approach and emotional experiential approach, and not only mechanic approach. So I'm going to move on with my presentation. Something here is stuck. Okay, sorry. Okay, so the theory of motivated cue integration is actually a theory that is influenced by the predictive coding model from neuroscience. And the general idea is that there are analogical processes between the way that the brain operates and social cognition. The predictive coding model suggests that the brain predicts lots of sort of things in advance to perceive homeostasis, and these predictions are based on Bayesian statistics. It's things that didn't happen yet, but the brain tries to calculate according to the history of the person in the similar condition. And I actually suggested that the self-regulation is analogous to the Bayesian statistic that the brain does. And so individual tries to predict from moment to moment what is going to happen and to adjust the social context and to attain his or her goals using similar processes. Just the one difference is that individual behavior is not only related to the need for homeostasis, but individuals have many kinds of goals, and the brain makes the predictions related to many kinds of goals, not only homeostatic goals. So the theory of motivated cue integration Why does it called motivated Q integration? Because I suggest that Q integration is not only a perceptual process, but a process that involves motivation. And according to the theory, there are 3 levels of self-regulation. One level is the low level. The low level includes interoceptive and exteroceptive signals. That means that the individual is attuned to bodily sensations and exteroceptive contextual cues, and they influence the way that he integrates information that is related to environment and to his high-level values and goals. So we have the low level of cues, and the high level of values and goals is basically a hierarchy of control processes, the hierarchy of goals that in every minute individual are connected to the relevant goal that they have. The other pillar, the third pillar, is the level of is called epistemic authority. That means trust in the other. It could be epistemic authority, could be a significant other, a parent. It could be the government. It could be even God. And the role of the epistemic authority is to validate individuals' experience under conditions where they have a low uncertainty, ambiguous conditions, and epistemic authority influences not, it shouldn't be concrete epistemic authority, it could be even internalized, imagined authority, but this is, in this way, individual actually understands the social context. And we know that we are creatures dependent in the environment, and the lecture that was before me by Ronnie Geva actually illustrated that we need to be attached to the other, beginning from the start and through all over our life. So here you see the high level goals and values. You see that this is a hierarchy of goals, sub goals and means, and there's a lot of research on the system of goals. We have a system of goals, not only one goal, but a whole system. This research was conducted by my mentor, Ariel from University of Maryland. It's a very big, huge, it's a huge research, and I think every social psychology in the world is actually familiar with this very influential research line. So this is actually a hierarchy of control processes. The moment-to-moment self-regulation aspect is related to internal and external cues, and the idea is that we are influenced either by bodily sensation, contextual cue. This contextual cue activates existing mental representation that automatically influences behavior. And this is the moment-to-moment level of self-regulation. So first, I'm going to show you what is going on in a normal situation, and then in the rest of the time, I will discuss the self-regulation failure under the COVID-19. So in a normal condition, individual trust the environment, they trust their bodily sensation, and then they could mentalize their sensation. They could understand, they have the association, bodily cues and concepts, social concepts, and they make the association, and these associations are valid. And then they have the experience of autonomy, that they are independent and they know what to do next. I'm not talking about autonomy in the sense of free will. I'm talking about autonomy in the sense of like having the sense of autonomy, like having the experience that I am independent and I can make judgments, and these judgments are valid. So this is under day-to-day normal condition. And what happened in the COVID-19? So what happened in the COVID-19? We had a very big ambiguity. This ambiguity was not only situational, but also bodily distrust in bodily cues. Individual didn't know how to interpret their bodily cues, and we know that the cues are markers for feeling healthy or sick, for feeling happy or unhappy. And the COVID-19 created a situation where we need to cope with new conditions that We didn't know how to interpret. And the distrust was not only in the bodily signals, but also in cultural contextual cues. For example, the idea that to be distant is more secure is not automatic. We used to think that to be close is more secure, close to other people. And so the ambiguity was not only internal, but also cultural. And we needed to adjust to various situations that we had no experience of it before. And so in terms of like predictive coding, we didn't know what prediction to make, what is going to happen next. And predictions error could be repaired, or if we have no prediction, this could result in trauma that we don't know what to predict. We just, as a condition, we don't know what to do. And then one thing that happened is belief in conspiracy theories. And what is conspiracy theories? It's a belief that somebody controls us, but this is external, and this control is external, and the authority has bad intentions. It's not someone that we could trust. Conspiracy theories is mostly about bad intentions of external authority that we distrust. Okay, so in terms of like self-regulation failure is emphasized by having external control, the experience of external control. We know that external control is characterized as people who suffer of OCD or many kinds of disease that they don't know how to dominate, so how to control. So here we have what I said before in a more organized way, the effect of COVID-19 on the low-level processes. So we have several examples. For example, we have misperceptions of internal of external cues. We have misinterpretation of internal of external cues. And this is not the same. For example, when we talk about people, individuals who suffer of chronic pain or suffer of somatization. So these individuals, they perceive, they have very high sensitivity to their interoceptive cues, but the problem is the interpretation. They interpret every cue as a signal of being sick. Even the experience of fear is interpreted as being sick. And so this is an example for misinterpretation. Misperception, individual with alexithymia, they actually misperceive their emotion. They don't know how to present their emotion in words. Another aspect of self-regulation failure is miscommunication as marks of health and disease, but like not knowing how to understand or communicate my symptoms or use of the body as a marker was damaged under the COVID-19. So alexithymia, I already talked about it a little bit, but we know from medical psychology that individuals with alexithymia, they have higher tendency to become sick because they have no words to feelings. They don't know how to, they experience the feelings, but their experience is just like having a general tension with no words and no ways to communicate it and to conceptualize it. And then if they don't know how to conceptualize it, mostly it is expressed by somatization. And during the COVID-19 was higher lack of rate of somatic symptoms and perceived threat, biological rhythm, especially intolerance of uncertainty were influential among, this is only one study, 533 participants, but this is only one study. There were more studies, but the rate of somatization was increased. And the explanation, according to the MCI, is that the COVID-19 increased self-regulation failure of the low-level perception, of interoception and exteroception. So that it's led to somatization. Okay, so in terms of the high-level processes, self-regulation failure in terms of high-level processes, I will give you a reminder. High-level processes are related to goals, and so the question is, every person has goals or system of goals, but then the question, if we look on the effect of COVID-19 on our system of goals, what happened to the whole system of goals? Can we characterize it? So my hypothesis is that the COVID-19 increased radicalization and ambiguity in individual system of goals. And what is radicalization? We talk about radicalization, we can talk about terrorism, we can talk about tendency to violence, and the idea is that under stress related to the COVID-19, individuals don't know how to understand the situation, so they make more primitive judgment, and they have higher tendency to integrate their perception of the world in terms of good or bad, and then we need to blame someone. So, for example, we could see that during the COVID-19, we had war in Israel, but not only in Israel. You can see that there was racism in the United States, higher racism, the case of Floyd, all over the world. We could have the impression of belief in conspiracy theories, and this is actually associated to the way individuals understand the environment and have like the general perception of the environment. And so it's not that the person has some kind of a specific personal rigid goals, but it's just the environment influences the way that we construe goals, or the way that we understand what we need to do in order to stay alive, in order to survive. So individuals tend to make mental shortcuts to reduce cognitive burden and have like impaired decision-making, particularly under stress. Radical groups and lots of sort of things. Teleological thinking, conspiracy theories, I already discussed all that, and ambiguity, goal ambiguity, just not knowing what to do, higher hesitation, difficulty in making decision, and to related to individual's personal life. So what are we going to do with this self-regulation failure? So my laboratory currently investigating intervention, treatment and interventions related to self-regulation failure related to motivated cue integration. And the idea is that the intervention aim to repair errors associated with mistaken predictions. And how do we do it? If self-regulation failure is associated to dissociation between bodily sensations and conceptions, then in order to treat this person, we need to recreate creative and original and new associations that individuals make between their moment-to-moment bodily experience and semantic associations that define their bodily sensations. And we use the body as it's not exactly like mindfulness or meditation. What we do, we ask the participants to associate, to be connected to his current bodily sensation, to make association that defines the bodily sensation, and to make some kind of anchoring between the two, to make association, and to this association is anchored in the body, and then the person moves on with the bodily sensation, moves on with the association, and eventually he has some kind of new cue integration that can define his current experience. And if we used only free association in psychoanalysis is not connected to the body. If we were using only mindfulness is not related to mental associations, imagination, and creativity. So in this intervention, we hope to reduce somatization, reduce alexithymia, and this is currently do it, and I hope we will get results and publish them as soon as possible. So thank you. If we have questions, I would be happy to hear. What kind of papers related?